Well, I mean, I'm proud to be from here. My family's here. My father worked his life here and sacrificed and gave, and I get to be a part of the legacy that my father left. And my mother is still here. You know, for me, it's God then family, and so my family's here. And you know, so many people came before me to make it better for me. I mean, people served so I could serve. So I stand on the shoulders of giants, and so I will obligation or responsibility to try to make things better for those who are coming behind me because so many people who preceded me, my father in particular, and who was my number one role model, preceded me because he wanted his children to have a better life. And so I stay here because I want my children to have a better life, and I want them to have the opportunity, if they still choose, to live in Pensacola. I don't want them to have to go away because in my golden years, I'm probably going to need their help to kind of get around town if we ever grow this city or this county.
Here, I have young kids. I know you do too. What do you hope? What do you hope their Pensacola looks like?
I hope that Pensacola looks like, I mean, I tell you, more economic opportunity, more diversity, more inclusion, a little less finger pointing, a little more camaraderie in getting along, and people, you know, not being selfish, and people not only believing in, you know, one way. That I think that people have to look at life in all different facets and through different lenses. And so I hope my children can see that. I hope that my children get the opportunity to play with people on the east side, the west side, in the projects, in the suburbs, from Portofino to Montclair. I want my children to be able to, you know, walk to those places and be safe. I don't want my children to be prisoners of their yard or prisoners of the house. I want my children to walk in a community where they can really be safe and have an opportunity to live, you know, and as cliche as it may sound, I want my children to live the American dream. Well, I believe a couple things. I think, yeah, we've invested a lot in economic development and acquiring land and acquiring projects and recruiting industry to come here. But I think that we simply failed in investing in our greatest asset, and that's human capital, investing in our people in terms of education, workforce, opportunity, whether it be recreational, whether it be social, even whether it be civic. So I don't think that we've invested in people, and by bringing forth programs that allow for people to reach their full potential and to provide them the supplement that they need. And so I think that's one of the things that really hold us back, is that we're not investing in people. Another thing is communication. I mean, I think that people don't communicate, and we get stuck in our own little world, our own little neighborhood, our own little church, our own little social group, our own little happy hour group, and we fail to go outside because sometimes we feel very frightened to go into unknown areas. And so I think that sometimes we're ignorant of each other, and ignorance promotes subjectivity. So if you're ignorant to it, you're subject to it. And so we fail to engage in other cultures and engage in other neighborhoods and environments. We all like being in places of familiarity rather than searching the unknown and making ourselves comfortable in situations that don't necessarily mean that you know everyone or you've been there before. And so I think that if I had to sum it up, I'd simply say we need to invest in human capital. We need to communicate and break down those barriers. I mean, and sometimes we only communicate with people in the same social economic class. But I think to have a vibrant community, you have to have a mixed use attitude, meaning that you have to mix with people of all social economic backgrounds, of different religions, of different races, of different cultures. And I think that we've been slow to embrace anything that's not traditional, anything that seems abnormal to what we grew up in, to outside of our culture. And so I think that, you know, we'll repeat because I sound like a teacher, but I mean, invest in human capital, communicate, and dare to explore other cultures and other religions and other people.
We might get there.
I think we can. I mean, I think too many times everybody wants to say why we can't. I want to focus on why we can. I mean, I get the opportunity to serve on a commission that I believe that there are other elected officials who share the vision of progress. And so, and we keep working toward that every day. I mean, I have a good relationship with the city council. We have a young mayor. We have young city council people. I think that we can continue to work with the school board. We have a school board that I think that wants to do better. And so that gives me hope. And it gives me hope when you see groups like the Pensacola Young Professionals who say, I want to reach out, and the Pensacola Young Minority Professionals. When I see groups like LEAP that say, you know what, we want to go into urban schools. We want to learn what's happening at Global Learning Academy and Montclair and Lincoln Park. And, you know, we want to find out what's wrong, but we also want to go over to Gulf Breeze and see what's working right. So I see a lot of different people who are coming in who are not so shadow-minded and not so tunnel vision. And so when I talk to my young friends downtown, when I talk to young people like yourself, Shannon, I believe that there's hope, because the thing that I see most important is passion. And you know what? You don't have to have a lot of skill set. You don't have to have a lot of ability. But if you have passion, you can develop skill set. And you know what? Passion can overcome ability if you just really believe in it. So I often say this about young people who are in leadership, is that we got an opportunity to invest, and hopefully we'll be around to see the return on our investment. Many people who are a lot older than us, who are in their 70s or their 80s, although they believe in it, I mean, they can't take any risky investment. They want to put their money in a passbook savings account and not get very much return on the interest. Well, those of us who have more time, you know, we believe that we can invest in a little risky stock, but we're going to get a greater return. So simply, you know, I say that when you talk to your financial advisor, he says you need to diversify your portfolio. So I say you diversify your life, you diversify your friends, you diversify your activity, you diversify how you exercise. But we also have to diversify our beliefs and our thoughts, and understanding that the more we diversify, the less risk we have, but the greater return we can get.